A very good morning once again, and thank you for keeping it morning at NTV, the #1 breakfast show in the whole world. Don't let anyone lie to you. If there is a vital piece of information right there within the coffers of the government, we'll let you know about it. If there is something happening within the streets of Chikubo, trust us, we'll tell you. We have an election on our hands. Yes, campaigns for the MPs begin around September 23rd, and then the presidential campaigns around October 4th. We shall be on the ground to bring you all that information as it comes in. Of course, our brothers and sisters have bore the brunt of violence at the hands of the state machinery, but that is not going to, dampen our resolve to give you this information right here on Morning at NTV, on NTV at 1, NTV Tonight, NTV Weekend Edition. All our programs will be dedicated on this election. All the foot soldiers, all the anchors are readying themselves for this election. So simply subscribe for your TV and ensure that electricity is also in supply. But because we are going to be here on the ground, ensuring that all that information is disseminated in all fairness, without hiding the truth. My name is Romeo Busiku. Today is the International Youth Day, August 12th. Of course, I do have two very important ladies with me in studio with whom we are going to be bantering about the future of the young people. A very good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us right here on Morning at NTV.
Thank you.
Indeed. Just to give you some context, it's like I did mention, 33 million of the young people within this country are under the age of 16 out of the 45 million Ugandans. So what does the future hold for this lot and others who are within that age bracket? All right, let's get into it. What is the relevance of this day, National Youth Day? I'm going to kick off with Judith Nalukwago. The relevance of the National Youth Day to the problems we are talking about affecting the youth. Talk to us about that.
Thank you so much. Nalukwago Judith is my name. I'm a medical doctor by profession, a member of National Unity Platform, a NEC member on that note, as head of professionals in the party, and also an aspirant for LC5 Woman Councillor Machinde. So I greet my people of Machinde, Lukuli, Ruafu, Salama, Munyonyo.
They must be happy and delighted to see
they woke up very happy this morning. They're very hardworking people. They woke up, and by the time I came, people were already up, already at work. So those are the kinds of people we want in this country, because we want our country to grow economically. We want so many things to happen in our country as a party.
And of course, the Nakandi residents are like, Judith Nalukwago on Morning at NTV, a successful happening among most of the young people. They are really struggling to get there, to be seen, and so forth. Days like this one, August 12th, International Youth Day, how can they be used to leverage that support and be accorded to the young people?
Exactly. So on such a day, we are supposed to be celebrating the milestones youth have moved so far, because International Youth Day was started in 1999 by the United Nations. It was gazetted as a day to celebrate the youth and what they have done, what they have accomplished and all that. But so on a sad note, that in Uganda, when you look at us, the youth, what are we celebrating? What is there to celebrate in this country where youth are rotting in prisons? You've seen how many youth are being abducted day in, day out. So there's not so much to celebrate because of the challenges these youth are having. Because of course at first you have to look at the numbers of the youth. Like you've said, youth in Uganda, we are about 22.7% of the population. That is a very, very big number. But of course when you look at young people we are almost 78%, almost 80 actually. 80% of the population. So when you look at the policies in the country, how are they favoring the young people? When you look at that, 22.7% makes up like 10 million Ugandans. And out of those 10 million Ugandans, more than half, that is 5.25 million people, young people, are not in education, they are not employed, they are not in training. What are they doing? They're doing nothing. You can imagine 5.25 million Ugandans are doing nothing. Youth, that is youth. I'm not talking about other groups of people. They're doing nothing. So what is the government, what are the policymakers doing to make sure these young people from Machinde, from Karamoja, from Abim, from Western Uganda come to NTV like I have done? these young people become doctors that I have done, or they become engineers or musicians, whatever they want to become. So when you look at our policies, they're not favoring the young people. When you look at the education system, because when you're saying our population, leaving alone the youth, but the population of people below the age of 18 years, we have 50% of our population is below 18 years. How are we preparing these young people that when they become youth, that is the, many cases, it's the age of employment, that they are ready to provide, to grow the country. But when you look at the education system, enrollment at UPE is very high, but the dropout rate is at 65%.
Indeed.
Are we asking ourselves, why are these young people dropping out?
And where are they going?
Exactly. I work in my constituency as I'm trying to greet people here and there and understand their issues. But many of the people, many of these children are home. And you ask them, why are you home? We have USE schools, we have UPE schools. Why don't you go to school? But the challenges they give us, you find in one parish, there is one UPE school, and a kid has to walk around 5 kilometers to come and attend that UPE school. You do not expect a P1 child to walk 5 kilometers to attend a school. They will not attend. We have seen challenges. Recently, Honorable Namuga of Maogola South, MP of Maogola South, released a video where kids were complaining that we don't want to come to school because when we come to school, we are forced to go and fetch water. Indeed. Actually, she was providing water for the schools in her constituency. Why doesn't government provide water to schools that the children are fearing to go to school because they do not want to go and fetch water? When they go to school, they don't find teachers in classes. My mother was a government teacher. Indeed. And you find these teachers, the staffing rate is below 24%. You find one teacher teaching all the 4 subjects. My mother used to teach all the 4 subjects. She's now retired. So when you look at all those challenges, you're not going to find those children from Machindi coming on the same table like me here at NTV. And that is what me, Nalukwago Judith, is supposed to be fighting for. That is why I come here to speak, to advocate for them. The government policy should change to favor these young people, because it's not only about them. When these young people are doing well, they grow the economy of the country, the GDP of the country grows. So we need to employ them, we need to educate them, we need to have better health for them so that they can grow the economy of the country, because that's what we want.
Of course, you talked about better health. Kindly talk about the issue of sanitary towels as also one of the factors leading to the dropout rates.
Surely. It's one of the major factors. I think you saw, it was run by actually NTV in Busoga. Many young girls were using soil as sanitary pads. It's in this 21st century.
And a bed sponge.
Exactly. Where the First Lady promised, that is the Minister of Education.
Indeed.
She promised, that was years ago, that she's going to make sure she provides sanitary towels for all school-going children, girls, so that they don't drop out of school. But I have been able to stay in up country. I was in Arua for my internship, Arua and Gulu. Many young girls, on top of not going to school because of sanitary pads, many of them cannot even come to hospital. They're like, the reason why I didn't come, because you ask them, why did you dodge your medication? Why did you dodge coming for your medication on such and such a day? They tell you, I was in my periods, there is no way I could move because I'm dripping, I do not have any necessities to help me with my period. So you understand such a situation. These young people are going through a lot, first of all, to afford themselves to be decent human beings, and now they have to go to school, they have to attend to these health programs. So of course, human nature, survival is first. If I cannot survive, that means I cannot get all these other services to me. So it's sad that in the 21st century in Uganda, we are still in survival mode. It's sad that we are having a government that has been in power for 40 years. Because 40 years, I expect you have experience to tackle all these challenges that these people are, because you've seen the youth, you've seen the elderly, you've seen the children. Over a period of 40 years, that is a big transition of time. So it is sad that in this 21st century, with a government of 40 years, we are still grappling with issues of sanitary towels. We should be discussing innovations, AI. Those are things we should be discussing, but it's a shame that I come here on national television and I'm discussing sanitary towels.
And we are talking about the past.
Exactly.
Something that was already pledged to be resolved by the First Lady.
Exactly.
But of course, that is Miss Judith Nalukwago. She's giving us a precursor into this conversation. She's spitting fire on the central government having forgotten the young people. But then Judith that is Babrah Nakandi Amooti. Yes. Yeah, she represents the NRM party. Sometimes the problems affecting the youth within the opposition are kind of different from the problems affecting the NRM youth. Amooti, Ogambo Tekialiro. Thank you for joining us right here on Morning at NTV.
Thank you.
Yes, she shared a lot. Do you share the same sentiments with her? Are they the same problems that you also see on the ground within the NRM affecting the youth?
Good morning, dear viewers. I'm Babrah, Nakandi, Amooti, like you had said. I am from Western Uganda. I'm also an aspirant. I'm aspiring for Western Youth MP. And like Judith, what she has been saying, that the youth are, the issues that the youth are facing, I would say that it's not specifically on the youth in NUP or the youth in NRM. At the end of the day, it's not about the youth in a specific party. Putting parties aside, it is the youth in Uganda. So the challenges that the youth in Uganda are facing could not be the same challenges that in a particular district or a city or a municipality that are facing. For example, if I give the challenges that the youth in Kampala, the city, the main city, that they are facing are not the same challenges that the youth in Babrah are facing. So you find that these challenges, some of them are very easy to handle, but how we look at these things and tackle them is what is key, and it's what that matters the most. When you look at the youth that are deep down in villages where we come from, some of us, you find that these issues, it's not like she has been saying that the education system. Yes, the education system that we have, you know, in Uganda, as the youth we are growing up, most of us have access to different opportunities. Some youth are able to make their way out, and while others are not able to make their way out. And the majority of the youth that are not able to make their way out, the government has provided very many programs for them. That is where the PDM comes in. That is where the presidential initiative hubs come in, and that is where most of the youth, she has been talking about the sanitary pads, but these initiatives that the president has put on in the different areas, this is where that many people are learning on how to make the sanitary pads. If they cannot accommodate the ones that we are able to buy on a daily basis, there are certain sanitary pads that the youth are able to make, and they provide services to the people. So I believe that the government is trying their level best to make sure that the youth...
Where are they making these sanitary pads from?
Where are they making the sanitary pads? The president has provided presidential initiative hubs. These are hands-on experiences that the youth are getting, and in the process, when they go outside, after the training, they are in position to provide these services around the areas where they are coming from. For example, in Chenjeje, we have the Presidential Initiative Hub in Kijwiga, and where the very many youth have had the hands-on services and experiences where they've learned very many things. They've learned how to make hair, they've learned welding, they've learned carpentry.
The skilling initiatives.
Yes, the hands-on, yes. And these trainings have helped the youth, especially the gap that she has been talking about, the category of the youth she has been talking about.
Is there favoritism in these skilling initiatives? We are getting information that if you are a NUP member, you are segregated when you come to actually clamor for these services.
No,
or government programs. If you're FDC and they only prioritize people who are NRM.
No,
demystify that.
The presidential initiative hubs that the government has provided through the state house, these services are for all Ugandans in the specific regions that we are in. They are not for a specific category. No, they are not. They are for all Ugandans. These are services that the government is providing for all youth to have access to and to benefit from.
What do you need to sign up? National ID?
Yes.
Or do you need to sign up?
What you need to have in order to be in position to have the hands-on skills, one is you don't need any qualification. As long as you come, everything is there. The beddings are there, the government provides for them. You come with a willingness, and of course you have to get in touch with the RDC of the municipality, the city, or the district that you're coming on as a recommendation for you to have access for security reasons, of course.
So it will be very, very hard to have a 35-year-old woman who is not being productive in community in this 2025. It's very hard to find a 35-year-old man or woman who are not in employment or being productive. because of these skilling initiatives.
Yes,
would you agree?
Yes, the skills that these skills that have been provided have helped very many people. They are not specifically for that they are only looking at the youth. Because of recent, I was speaking to someone and they are telling me that they had the opportunity to have these skills and they've helped them a lot. So they are not segregating or looking at specific individuals. They are for all Ugandans to have the opportunity.
And she also did mention the dropout rate that is increasing. At primary one, we do have millions of children enrolling for primary one, but by around primary 7, we are only seeing 635,000. So that is close to 1 million. From 1.5 something to 600,000. You do have 1 million children who never come back to the education system. How do we resolve that issue? Do you also share the same concerns within the NRM Youth Wing?
The increasing rates of the dropouts in our respective regions and in Uganda at large, it is because there is a gap that we need to
What kind of gap?
There is a certain kind of gap, that, of course, the awareness, because most of these people think if you're educated, because I remember when I was graduating, after the graduation, on my graduation day, people were like, welcome to unemployed youth. That is already the mindset that the people have. They think that even if you've studied, you still cannot make it in life. But that is wrong. That is not totally right, because that's the mindset, how someone is looking at things and interpreting things. And at the end of the day, the people are discouraged. So I believe that creating awareness and letting these people know that you can still make it, it's one of the things that we need to make sure that we bridge that gap, so that we reduce on the numbers of the youth that is dropping out of school. Of course, there are other youth that have the challenges whereby you can find that the conditions and the environment around them does not favor them to go to certain places or to reach certain places. And at the end of the day, you find that they are limited by that. But the government is trying their level best to make sure that this gap is also made small. That is why we have the youth MPs. That is why we have the representatives in the parliament having the voice of the youth being heard, and to make sure that these issues are tackled on and handled. Because when we have the voice of the youth in the parliament, these are things that are, of course, I will be handling when I become the youth MP. I hope the youth in Western Uganda will not miss on this opportunity of having
Are you concerned that the central government has actually neglected the young people, especially those who should be trained with the right skills 20 years from now? Because we're getting information that 75% of this population of 45 million are under the age of 16, and that is 33 million young people under the age of 16. Are you worried that if we do not train these young people 20 years on, we may end up in the power vacuum, whereby we may not have leaders to take over these positions? Of
recent, we had the census, and the statistics showed that we, the youth, we carry the biggest percentage in our country, in Uganda. So that means we are the chosen generation of now.
Are you worried that we are not exploiting the chosen generation?
That we are trying our level best, but it needs a lot of effort. It needs a lot of effort, because the pace at which we are on, we should not give it a gap or stop at a certain level. We should continue pushing on, because the fact that we carry the biggest percentage and the population in the country, that means we are the hope of Uganda. And the fact that we are the hope of Uganda, it is us that are supposed to lay the foundation that we require Uganda to be. If we don't lay this foundation, that means that there is a generation that you will find that we are failing. So it starts now, and it requires us to keep on moving forward, regardless of the limitations that we as the youth face.
Babrah Nakandi, Amooti youth politician. Thank you so much for that submission. Judith Nalukwago, you want to pitch in on that one?
Yes,
and we also wanted to know if you believe the central government has largely forgotten the young people.
Surely, I believe the central government has not only forgotten, it has failed the young people. Because, you see, when you look at our population, when you look at Uganda is one of the countries with the youngest population in the world. When you have the youngest population in the world, it's a blessing, actually. You know, some people take it as a curse, but it's a blessing. But it's a double-edged sword.
It is.
If you do not plan well, these young people are going to become criminals in the future, because they have nothing to do. They're going to get addicted to drugs. These young people are going to steal. Even you, members of parliament, they're going to steal from you, because you're the people who will be having money. You government officials, they're going to break into your doors. You're the people who will be having money, you're the people who will be having jobs. They will not be having jobs. But when you plan well, China did exactly that. China had a population of young people because their population was like 1.2 billion Chinese. When they sat down and looked at the population of young people, they started planning. They're like, okay, by this year, these young people should be doing this and this and this. When you look at our projection, by a year 2060, our population will go to 104 million Ugandans. 104 million Ugandans, it's projected that 70% of 104 million Ugandans will be working class. 70%. So if they will be working class, that means they will be above 18 years and they will be working. What is the government doing to make sure that by that time, these people are not criminals. These people are in jobs. These people are in technology. These people are in health, doing something about it. What they do is there are 3 sectors we have to attach ourselves to. That is education, that is health, because these people have to be healthy if they have to work for us. They have to be healthy. And employment, creation of employment. At the moment, even with a little population we have, very many, like I've told you, just the youth.
On the streets.
Yes, they're on the streets. So, is the government really prioritizing education? Because when you look at USE, because I'm going to look at what the government is doing.
Sure.
When you look at UPE, government pays almost 1,000 for every student in UPE in a whole year. What does 1,000 Uganda shillings do for a student in a whole year? You see, government officials have not sat down, all our policymakers, to see what attracts these children to school. Many of these children don't have food at home. Provide food in school. Many of them will come to school because of food.
Government took over that place this year. They said they're going to be starting this system of food in the school.
Of course, they said
for the implementation.
Exactly, because many of these systems, even when you look at PDM, the money to supervise PDM is bigger than the cap for PDM itself. So how do you expect PDM to be impactful when even the supervising money is bigger than the cap of PDM? When you look at the government, because the government removed programs like Youth Livelihood Program that used to provide capital at KCCA for these children, not for children, for young people to start businesses and all that, and they incorporated it in PDM. When they incorporated it in PDM, the youth have only 30% of PDM money. 30%. But remember, these youth are the ones that are enterprising, they're the ones that have all that energy to start businesses, to work and all that. So if you're only giving them 30%, remember they're your biggest population, you're doing a disservice to them. So when you ask yourself, when you look at the education, when you look at health, I'm a medical worker. I know what is in the health sector.
And would like to hear from you, especially in the jurisdiction of Makindye. She says all young people, irrespective of political denomination, you can go for these livelihood funds within the central government. Have you seen any of the Makindye dwellers, the young people, clamoring for the Youth Livelihood Fund, PDM and so forth? How many in your region are clamoring for government programs?
Of course.
And being successful.
Of course, these it's just rhetoric. People just talk, but on ground, actual ground, because for us, we know those programs. We encourage our young people, regardless of NUP or your what, because this is our money. This is taxpayers' money. I contribute. I'm NUP, but I contribute. She's NRM, she also contributes. So we all deserve. But when you look at the people who actually get it, you have to be in the NRM book. It's a reality. The reality on ground. They choose people in the NRM book.
NRM voters?
Yes. That is the reality.
Disagree with that.
That is in my area. You've spoken about your area. I'm also speaking about my area.
Okay.
Actually, that is one of the complaints of our people. They're like, is it that because we are NUP or we are FDC that we do not deserve this money? That is actually the biggest complaint. When you go to the on ground, when you ask people, have you gotten the money? Like, but for us, we applied. But when you look at our fellow young people who are in NRM, all of them got the money, the PDM money. But for us, none of our people is getting. What is happening? So for me, that is why I say it's the people in the NRM book.
Okay, away from the NRM and the government, your youth leaders, have they done something to help the youth within this country, especially Makindye?
Yes.
Are you seeing the youth leaders on the ground?
Fortunately, when you look in Kampala, the only opposition youth leader is in Makindye. Is NUP. He's called Rashid. He's in Makindye. He has really, really worked hard. One, to spread the initiatives of government. Even when some people are like, no, but you see, even when you spread them, it's only NRM people that benefit them. Yes, he's a youth leader. He's not only a youth leader for NUP. He's a youth leader generally for all groups of people. So even as we encourage him, please continue spreading, even if sometimes our people don't benefit, continue spreading that message among people.
Right,
Show them that these
thank you
programs
so
are
much,
there.
Judith. Nalukwago, of course, like I did mention, she's spitting fire. All right, let's crown it with Amooti. You had a disclaimer, then we go for a break.
Yes, I would like to disagree with my sister Judith because we are living in times where the government is recognizing the potential of the youth, and because it is recognizing the potential of the youth, they don't neglect the voices of the youth. She's saying that the youth in her area have not benefited from these programs, but when the government is issuing out these programs and giving access to programs, they don't look at specific individuals, all parties. They look at you all as Ugandans. So it's not about the case she was saying. It's specifically looking at the party.
So much. She still maintains that the system is fair, everyone irrespective of political denomination. You can go and get yourself that money in PDM and the Youth Livelihood Fund. All you need is a national ID, no academic qualification, as long as you are a Ugandan. My name is Romeo Busiku. We still